This is a Pin Game Journal Pinball Production.
My name is Chuck Ernst. I am the CG art director at Stern. My background is video games, video production, cinematography, that kind of thing, and so I was brought here to fill this LCD monitor up with content.
Exactly.
And
this room is newish.
Yeah. So now this is kind of the art pit. It's kind of echoey. We don't have carpeting in here yet, but. So what we wanted to do is try to get everybody that was generating content in the same room, and then everybody's learning from each other and seeing how everybody else's skill sets are, and it's one of those things where like proximity builds knowledge.
Right.
So that's kind of what we got going on here.
The other day, Mark Alves, who's always to me the dot guy.
Yeah. No,
so we're doing more than just dots.
Yeah, well, it was funny when I came here. They were like, "So you do dots?" I'm like, "What are dots? Dots aren't. That doesn't make any sense." And so everything was dots. And then part of the job with getting up to speed with this new LCD monitor is actually coming up with the common language between So we just still call dots. The red dots on the screen, dots.
Okay.
We've all agreed that those will stay dots. Nobody needs to tell that, and we don't need to change that. But basically now you have video, which are from like video movies from the licensors, and then we have motion graphics, which are the animated fonts and things like that, and then we have CG animation, computer graphics animation, which are full rendered scenes. Like if you look at Iron Maiden, the planes and and Eddie's running around the world, those are all considered CG animation.
Okay,
so
cool.
So you have dots, motion graphics, CG animation are the main categories. And then we brought Ernie Perez in on from a perspective of user interface, because now we got this display. You need to convey information to people quickly and intuitively. And before, when we had dots, the red dots, we only basically displayed scores because that's all that would fit on the screen.
So what are we working at?
So this is currently the state of the Munsters user interface. So this is still kind of a work in progress, but it allows us to start putting all of the elements in and start seeing how it behaves, so we can start testing it out to make sure that it's communicating the information quickly and clearly, so the user knows or the player knows what's going on. So,
your stuff you're making would go in there, or
yeah.
that would change?
So this part in here would actually be where you would actually have like your things like your TV clips, or if you actually had full screen video, that would be filling in that area right there.
Cool.
So.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And then over here we have this is Tom Kizavat. He's the last man standing on Deadpool. He's adding in some advanced wizard mode type elements. Usually the things that kind of go in last, and when the game comes out, you kind of have to figure out like, is there anything missing, or what's some feedback from some of the first people, that early adopters. And so Tom is helping wrap that up right now. So one of the things he's doing right now is everything is storyboarded in like a pre-production kind of way before we convert it to pixels.
So here I'm working on a final shot for a mode where you're fighting a big monster. So in the tradition of a lot of the game graphics are throwbacks to old video games, so we wanted to create that feel by making it look like a super move from a fighting game. So yeah, kind of a throwback. This will all be pixel art when it's finished.
Dots.
Exactly.
Well, actually, not dots. They're a little bit different.
Squares.
They're pixels.
Yeah.
Square dots.
Okay, so there's 4 categories.
Okay, cool.
And
Cool.
then, so
Thank you.
one of the things that when we do our dots or our pixels, Olivia here is cleaning up some of those pixels, so we end up with some artwork that doesn't quite that doesn't look right, and then she goes in there and makes sure that it's nice and smooth, and nothing's sparkling, and, that kind of thing.
Okay. So even though it starts being drawn.
So we actually generated this in 3D, and then we render them out in very limited palettes.
Okay.
And then so if she goes back to a frame that's kind of cleaned up already, you can see this is kind of the goal look. and then if it goes to another frame, you can see what she starts with. So it's not so much just converting things over, but it's actually a lot of manual work. And Olivia did a total ton of stuff on Deadpool. Like she's probably sick of it by now.
Trucking through.
Right.
Killing it.
Yeah. Thank you. And this is
This is Mark Galvez's seat. I think he's at lunch right now.
Sorry, it's cool.
But you can see where there's some three-dimensional 3D objects, and then he's doing animated fonts.
Oh, okay, cool.
For jackpots.
Right.
And this is Zach Stark's area. He's also at lunch, but he basically helped generate an entire grandpa's basement lab.
Okay.
And so you move around to different parts of the lab for different awards, that kind of thing.
Cool.
What's nice is the game is in black and white, so we can spend more time making things look right than like tweaking colors and elements like that. So
Cool.
it's kind of nice.
And
so there's a couple of things in the Munsters that have to be kind of accurate. There's certain iconic things in the scenes, like the electric chair, the organ that they have in the family room, the harp, things like that are iconic and have been in a lot of the scenes. We have to try to get to be as accurate as possible. And so he's actually modeling the organ that's from the movie.
oh, okay.
The nice thing is that there's enough people out there that are super fans that they've collected all that reference material. So like people will go like, oh, that's a 1952 something organ, and then they was like, no, I think that's a 1948 whatever, and then all of a sudden they'll post pictures and they were like, no, you're right, that's a 1948
Oh, cool.
something organ,
Okay.
And this organ actually still exists, and it's on the Universal backlot. It's still in storage. So that's where these photos
That is the organ. It's not
the
one
original.
like it. It's
No, it's like the organ. They bring it out for other movies and stuff. But
Cool.
But yeah, there's actually we found a photo. I think this is the photo of it in the actual. So that's actually on the back lot. Right now it's in storage.
cool.
But it's funny how it still exists.
Yeah.
This is
No,
Josh.
thank you.
Josh is our latest addition to the team.
Hi.
He comes from a traditional art background.
Okay.
But he picks up this digital stuff like nobody's business. So he's working on some concept stuff for another title that we get coming out in a little bit. So the thing that I'm working on right now, and this is another one of those things that kind of has to, the fans and everybody, they know what the Munster coach looks like, So we model a vehicle that we can put in a different situation, so we're not just dependent on video clips from the licensor.
Okay.
So we want to be able to have the car drive by the screen, or to vanish away from a scene or whatever. So we want to model it and get it as close to the original. A lot of these things are replicas. The actual vehicle doesn't exist anymore. So we'll try to use the replicas information and then find video footage of the actual car and try to make it as accurate as possible. Model it in 3D. And then when we're done, we insert it into a scene. Like in this case, the Dragula is racing, in the world. And if we go to, and at some point, it's like beep, beep, beep.
Oh, right.
And then he takes off. So
Are you going to do the beeps?
yeah, well,
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah.
does beeps.
Oh, Jerry does beeps.
Jerry's the beep guy.
Okay.
No, someday I want to do a game where we just do all the sound effects with our mouths. It's like,
Oh, that would be cool.
But yeah. So basically it's
You do a version,
But,
like an internal version.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But so that's what we'll do is we have a vehicle that we render, and the Munster coach is going to be racing the Dragula vehicle on the other side. So it's a lot easier if you have a vehicle, and that you can position
Sure. Oh, wow. Yeah.
in the world however you want. Like here, this is the angle it'd be for, racing that direction. You render it out, you drop it in, and you're good to go. Instead of trying to Photoshop everything. It's a little easier to do it this way. And the other upside to this kind of thing is if we have all the content in 3D, making the toys for the playfield is easier.
Oh.
So
there they are.
we're not using the coach, but we did Herman Munster the same way.
Yeah.
where it was a sculpt, it was a digital sculpt. We took it over to engineering. Engineering cut them up, placed them how they wanted them to be placed. We modified the sculpt and sent it right out there and get manufactured. Some of the older school guys were like, I don't understand. You know, we have graph paper. Why are we using all these computers? But so.
All right.
All right,
Cool.
cool.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.